There's a powder that costs less than $1 at every grocery store in America. It neutralizes ammonia on contact, penetrates carpet padding where mold and bacteria breed, and destroys the invisible chemical marker that makes your pet urinate in the same spot and over again. Veterinary scientists have documented its effectiveness for nearly 4 decades, and it works on all 3 layers of contamination simultaneously, something no product on the shelf can do. And you have almost certainly never been told to use it for this purpose, not because it failed, because it worked too well. A powder that solves a problem permanently cannot generate recurring revenue, and what cannot generate recurring revenue cannot sustain a $6.8 billion industry. This is the story of the $1 powder that the carpet cleaning industry prayed you would never discover. Welcome to Forbidden Camping. If these buried truths matter to you, the bell and the subscribe button are the simplest way to preserve what they keep trying to erase. Here we open the vaults that the industry locked shut. The story begins thousands of years before modern chemistry existed, along the banks of the Nile River in ancient Egypt. Egyptian workers harvested a white crystalline mineral from dried lake beds, a substance they called natron, a natural compound containing sodium bicarbonate and sodium carbonate. They used it for everything: cleaning linen, treating wounds, purifying water, and even preserving the bodies of pharaohs during mummification. Natron was so valuable that temples maintained dedicated storehouses for it, and trade routes were built specifically to transport it across the desert. For thousands of years, this mineral sat at the foundation of civilization's relationship with cleanliness and preservation. Then, in 1791, a French chemist named Nicolas Leblanc cracked the code for producing sodium carbonate synthetically, unlocking the industrial path to what we now call baking soda. A decade later, in 1801, a pharmacist in Berlin named Valentin Rose the Younger became the first person to isolate pure sodium bicarbonate in a laboratory. But it remained a scientific curiosity until 1846, when a physician from Connecticut named Austin Church and a Massachusetts farmer named John Dwight opened a small factory in New York. They packed the powder into individual red paper bags, hired traveling salesmen, and sold it door to door across the Northeast, essentially inventing the modern consumer goods distribution model for a chemical product. Most people knew it for baking because it made bread rise without yeast, but Church and Dwight noticed something far more powerful. The powder absorbed odors like nothing they had ever encountered, neutralized acids on contact, killed bacteria without leaving toxic residue, and cost almost nothing to produce. By the 1880s, American households were using it to scrub floors, deodorize outhouses, treat insect stings, soothe burns, and clean infected wounds. Doctors prescribed it for acid indigestion and stomach ailments, and firefighters loaded it into early chemical extinguishers because it smothered flames by releasing carbon dioxide on contact with heat. The United States military packed it into field kits during both World Wars, and soldiers on the front lines used it to treat trench foot, neutralize chemical burns, purify contaminated drinking water, and even clean their weapons. By 1972, the Arm & Hammer brand launched a campaign telling Americans to place an open box inside their refrigerator to absorb odors, and it became one of the most successful marketing campaigns of the 20th century. Today, the global sodium bicarbonate market is valued at over $5 billion and is projected to reach $8.5 billion by 2035. But here is where the story turns dark. As the American pet industry exploded through the 1980s and 90s, a massive new problem emerged inside tens of millions of homes across the country: pet urine in wall-to-wall carpeting. Stay with me, because the numbers alone should alarm you. According to the American Pet Products Association 2025 State of the Industry Report, 71% of American households now own at least one pet. That is 94 million families. 65 million of those households own at least one dog, and 46 million own at least one cat. That is over 100 million animals walking across carpet every single day. And when accidents happen, the damage is catastrophically worse than what you see on the surface. But first, I need to be honest about something. This video is just the first vault. I have collected everything the carpet cleaning industry does not want you to know, all inside the complete Forbidden Camping Vault. The Forbidden Firecraft manual with techniques the military used and that are now classified as dangerous. The complete off-grid blueprint with systems that make you permanently independent from corporate services. The Lost Rations cookbook with preservation methods that work without refrigeration, without electricity, without permission. The 72-hour blackout checklist with protocols that keep your family alive when every system around you fails. And a complete guide to household decontamination methods that cost pennies and outperform every commercial product on the shelf. Over 10 guides in one place, no fluff, straight to the point. The link is in the description. But stay here, the video is just getting started, and what comes next is the part nobody in the cleaning industry wants you to understand. Now let me explain what actually happens when your pet urinates on carpet, because most people think it is just a stain and a smell. It is not. It is a 3-layer biological contamination event, and each layer is worse than the last. Layer 1 is the carpet fiber itself, the part you can see. Urine soaks into the fibers within seconds and immediately begins to decompose as bacteria in the environment break down the urea compounds. As the water evaporates over the following hours, the urea converts into ammonia gas. But here is what nobody tells you. The ammonia does not simply float away and disappear. It crystallizes into ammoniated salt deposits that bond directly to the carpet fibers at a molecular level, completely invisible to the naked eye. These crystals are dormant when the air is dry, but they reactivate every single time humidity rises in your home. That phantom smell that comes and goes when it rains or when the air conditioner cycles, that is not your imagination, and it is not a new accident. That is crystallized ammonia releasing toxic vapor into your living room from an accident that happened weeks or even months ago. Layer 2 is the carpet padding underneath, and this is the layer that the entire industry pretends does not exist. Urine passes through the carpet fibers and soaks into the dense foam padding within minutes of the original accident. From the surface, the stain might look like the size of a tennis ball, but flip the carpet over and the damage underneath often spans an area the size of a dinner plate. The padding absorbs liquid like a sponge and almost never fully dries in a normal home environment, creating a dark, warm, moist breeding ground where dangerous mold colonies begin forming within 48 hours. Research has identified varieties including penicillium, which causes respiratory irritation, and aspergillus, which has been linked to chronic and potentially serious lung infections with prolonged exposure. This mold grows silently beneath your carpet for months, sometimes years, releasing spores into the air your family breathes every single day, and no amount of surface cleaning will ever reach it. Layer 3 is the chemical marker, and this is the layer that turns a single accident into a lifelong cycle. Your pet's urine contains pheromone compounds that function as powerful territorial signals embedded at a molecular level in the carpet fibers. In cats specifically, an enzyme called coxin breaks down into phenylanin, a sulfur-based compound that then degrades into a volatile pheromone molecule called 3-mercapto-3-methylbutan-1-ol. This molecule is undetectable to the human nose after cleaning, but your pet can smell it for months, sometimes over a year after the original accident. Your cat is not being stubborn or disobedient. It is following a chemical beacon that is literally calling it back to the exact same location. And every time it answers that call, the contamination deepens through all 3 layers again, restarting the entire cycle from the beginning. The American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals has confirmed that residual scent markers are the primary driver of repeated indoor urination behavior. Even professional steam cleaning cannot destroy these pheromone markers, and in fact, the high heat from steam equipment can permanently bond urine proteins into synthetic carpet fibers, making the contamination worse, not better. This is the dirty secret that no professional carpet cleaner will ever volunteer to a paying customer. Now here is where this becomes a health emergency. Healthy cat urine contains approximately 0.05% ammonia, 2% urea, 0.6% chloride, and 0.003% uric acid, with the remaining 95% being water. That sounds harmless until you understand what concentration does, because cat urine is dramatically more concentrated than dog urine, and when it dries, the water evaporates, but every single chemical compound stays behind, becoming more and more potent with each passing day. At just 50 parts per million, ammonia causes rapid irritation of the eyes, nose, throat, and skin. People with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, asthma, and emphysema are severely affected by even low ambient concentrations in an enclosed room, and prolonged exposure can trigger bronchitis and respiratory infections. Children are the most vulnerable population because their lower body weight means the same airborne concentration hits them with proportionally greater force, and the elderly and immunocompromised face compounding risks of sinusitis, alveolar inflammation, and in extreme cases of prolonged exposure, pneumonia. And here's the part that should make you angry. The average American family with indoor pets calls a professional carpet cleaner 2 to 3 times per year, paying between $150 and $300 per visit. The carpet cleaning services industry in the United States alone generates $6.8 billion annually across more than 37,000 businesses, employing over 64,000 workers. The global carpet and upholstery cleaning products and services market was valued at over $43 billion in 2024, projected to reach $57 billion by 2030. This is not a cottage industry. This is one of the largest recurring service machines in the American economy. And this machine runs on one single fuel, your problem never being solved permanently. If you have made it this far, you already know more about what is hiding underneath your carpet than 99% of homeowners in America. Subscribe and share this with every pet owner you know, because the cleaning industry made an entire generation forget what a $1 box of powder can do. Everything they buried is inside the complete Forbidden Camping Vault. The link is in the description. Now stay with me, because the next vault is the heaviest one yet. So what does the average pet owner do when they discover a urine stain on their living room carpet? They drive to the nearest supermarket, walk down the cleaning aisle, and grab an enzymatic cleaner, usually priced somewhere between $8 and $15. The label promises to eliminate stains and odors at the molecular level, using natural enzymes that break down organic compounds in urine. It sounds scientific, it sounds effective, and it sounds like the problem is about to be solved forever. It is not solved, and the reason why is something the manufacturers of these products have absolutely no interest in explaining. Enzymatic cleaners work by using live bacteria colonies to produce the specific enzymes that digest urine proteins, uric acid, and other organic compounds. In theory, this is an elegant biological solution, but in practice, those bacteria are fragile living organisms with a fatal weakness. They have an expiration date. Industry testing conducted by competing cleaning companies has confirmed that even high-quality enzymatic cleaners begin losing effectiveness within 12 to 24 months of their manufacture date. The bacteria colonies die off over time, and once they are dead, the product retains zero ability to break down stains or neutralize odors. It becomes nothing more than scented water in a spray bottle. But time is not the only killer. If the product was exposed to temperatures above 130 degrees Fahrenheit during shipping, during warehouse storage in summer, or while sitting in the trunk of your car on the way home, the heat denatures the enzyme proteins and destroys their three-dimensional molecular structure. Those enzymes are dead before you ever open the bottle. If your carpet was previously cleaned with any chemical cleaning product, the altered surface chemistry, the residual surfactants, the antibacterial compounds left behind can deactivate the enzymes the moment they make contact with the carpet fiber. And here is the detail that should change how you see every product on that shelf. Enzymatic cleaners only work on the surface layer of the carpet, the fibers you can see and touch. They cannot penetrate the dense foam padding underneath, which is where the majority of the urine has migrated within minutes of the original accident. They cannot reach the mold colonies growing in the warm darkness between the padding and the subfloor. And they cannot destroy the pheromone markers that are calling your pet back to urinate in the same spot again and again. The enzymes treat the symptom you can see while leaving the three underlying causes completely untouched. This is not a flaw in the system. This is the system. A product that expires on the shelf is a product that must be repurchased every few months. A product that only cleans the surface layer is a product that guarantees the odor returns within weeks. And an odor that returns is a customer who eventually picks up the phone and calls a professional carpet cleaning service. That professional arrives, charges $150 to $300, runs a steam extraction machine across the surface, and leaves behind a carpet that smells clean for approximately 2 to 4 weeks until the humidity rises, the crystals reactivate, the mold keeps growing, and the pheromone markers pull the pet right back to the same location. The cycle begins again, and the industry collects another payment. Now think about what that cycle looks like across the lifetime of pet ownership. The average dog lives 10 to 13 years, and the average indoor cat lives 12 to 18 years. If you are calling a carpet cleaner twice per year at $200 per visit, that is $4,000 per decade, spent on a problem that a $1 box of powder solves permanently. Multiply that by the 94 million pet-owning households in America, and you begin to understand why this information has been buried. You cannot patent baking soda because it has been in the public domain since 1846. You cannot create a branded proprietary version that consumers must repurchase every 90 days. You cannot generate subscription revenue or recurring service contracts from a product that costs 79 cents and has an unlimited shelf life. The entire economic model of the carpet cleaning industry, both products and services, depends on temporary solutions that manufacture permanent customers. Baking soda represents everything that model fights against. It is cheap, it is permanent, it is universally available, it never expires, and it works on all three layers simultaneously. So the industry did exactly what industries always do when something they cannot patent, cannot control, and cannot monopolize threatens their revenue stream. They ignored it, buried it under millions of dollars of marketing for expensive alternatives, and trained an entire generation of pet owners to reach for the $12 enzyme spray instead of the 79-cent box of powder sitting 3 aisles away. The enzyme spray that expires on the shelf, that only treats the surface, that leaves the padding contaminated, the mold growing, and the pheromone marker intact. Here is what they did not want you to learn. And this is the protocol that attacks all three contamination layers simultaneously for less than $1. Step 1. Blot the affected area immediately with clean, dry towels, pressing firmly with your full body weight to absorb as much liquid as possible from the carpet fibers and the padding below. Do not rub, because rubbing pushes the urine deeper and spreads the contamination wider. Step 2. Mix equal parts white distilled vinegar and warm water in a spray bottle and saturate the entire affected area generously. far beyond the visible edges of the stain because the vinegar is acidic and it directly neutralizes the alkaline ammonia compounds in the urine through a straightforward chemical reaction. Let this solution sit for 10 to 15 minutes so it has time to penetrate through the carpet fibers into the top layers of the padding beneath. Step 3. While the area is still damp from the vinegar solution, pour a generous layer of baking soda directly onto the carpet, covering the entire treated zone. The sodium bicarbonate is alkaline, and it reacts with the acidic uric acid crystals that are chemically bonded to the carpet fibers, breaking their molecular grip. When the baking soda contacts the vinegar residue, you will see it fizz, and that effervescent reaction is actively pulling contamination upward out of the deepest layers of the carpet. Work the powder into the fibers with a stiff brush to ensure it reaches the interface between the carpet backing and the padding. Step 4. Mix 1 cup of 3% hydrogen peroxide with 1 teaspoon of liquid dish soap and pour this solution slowly and evenly over the baking soda layer. The hydrogen peroxide is a powerful oxidizer that destroys the pheromone compounds, the felinine derivatives, and the territorial scent markers that are chemically calling your pet back to the same location. This is the critical step that no commercial product replicates because eliminating the scent marker means eliminating the repeat accident, and eliminating the repeat accident means eliminating the repeat customer, which is the last thing a recurring revenue business model wants. Let the entire combined mixture dry completely in place. This may take anywhere from 12 to 24 hours depending on ventilation and humidity. Step 5. Once fully dry, vacuum the entire area thoroughly. The baking soda will have absorbed the moisture, the ammonia crystals, and the odor compounds from all 3 contamination layers. 1 application, 3 layers neutralized, total cost less than $1. A homeowner in Texas posted online that she had tried 4 different enzymatic cleaners over 2 years on the same spot where her elderly cat kept returning. She spent over $200 on products and 1 professional cleaning visit, and each time the odor and the re-urination behavior returned within weeks. She used this exact protocol once, and the cat never returned to that spot again. I need to be transparent about one thing, and this is where honesty matters more than narrative. For extreme cases where urine has soaked completely through the padding and into the wooden subfloor over months or years of repeated untreated accidents, the padding may need to be physically cut out and replaced, and the subfloor may need to be sealed. No method can save padding that has become saturated with mold growth, not professional cleaning, not enzymes, not this protocol, not anything. But those cases represent the extreme minority. And for the vast majority of pet urine incidents that are caught within the first few days, this $1 treatment does what a $300 professional visit cannot do. It does not mask the odor, it does not temporarily suppress the ammonia, and it does not leave invisible pheromone markers behind for your pet to find. It eliminates all 3 layers of contamination in a single treatment. 2 critical warnings before you begin, and please take these seriously. Never use a steam cleaner on pet urine stains because the extreme heat bonds urine proteins permanently into synthetic carpet fibers, locking the stain and the odor into the material forever. And never use ammonia-based cleaning products because ammonia smells chemically similar to urine and will actually encourage your pet to mark the same area again, making the problem exponentially worse. The ancient Egyptians harvested natron from dried lake beds along the Nile thousands of years before modern chemistry was even conceived. They use this natural sodium bicarbonate mineral to preserve the bodies of kings, purify water for entire cities, treat infections, and clean the garments of an empire, a substance so fundamental to human survival that pharaohs declared it sacred and built entire economies around its collection and trade. And today, that same substance sits on a grocery store shelf between the flour and the sugar, ignored by millions of pet owners who are writing another check to the carpet cleaning company next month. This knowledge did not die. It was hidden in plain sight the entire time. The carpet cleaning industry did not need to ban baking soda. They did not need to discredit it. They did not need to lobby against it. They simply spent decades making sure you never connected the $1 powder in your pantry to the $100 problem in your carpet. 71% of American households own a pet, 94 million families spending $152 billion per year on pet-related expenses. And the vast majority of those families are trapped in the same manufactured cycle, buying products designed to fail, calling services designed to return, and spending thousands of dollars over a lifetime on a contamination problem that costs less than $1 to solve permanently. If this video opened your eyes, subscribe and share it with every pet owner in your life. Every single share preserves what the cleaning industry spent decades trying to erase. Every subscription keeps this vault open for the next family that discovers what their carpet has been hiding. The next vault opens soon, and what the industry buried this time is even worse than what we uncovered today.